Easy in the morning. Web exclusive.
That's good.
That was good.
I liked it. We're super excited to have in studio. Bopping his head to his own theme music, ladies and gentlemen. He is the wrestler Mick Foley. You may know him as Mankind, Cactus Jack. Live in studio, dude. We're super excited. When we found out we got to get you in studio, Mr. Mankind. Can I call you Mr. Can I call you Mr. Mankind or Mr. Jack or Mr. Foley?
Mick is fine. I don't know about Mr. Mankind. I've got a lawsuit going on with the History Channel right now. Like, have you seen that? They're debuting Mankind, the story of all of us. No, it's the story of me.
Now, let me ask you this. Why did you wrestle under several names? Why not? I'm not a big wrestling guy, so how come you didn't just do Mick Foley?
Well, I'm going to break the news right here. We had one of your guys who was a huge fan. I was giving him some inside news. The truth is, I was Cactus Jack, and I just wanted to be Cactus Jack long enough to be until I became good enough to become Dude Love, which is what I always wanted to be. It was like my kind of fantasy character.
This show is way into Dude Love.
Way into Dude Love.
You will find.
Oddly enough, I was asked to do an interview for India a few years ago before I actually went to India, and they told me, like, Dude Love was by far and away the most popular character I did. And, like, I don't even like Dude Love. And I was him. Like, I don't have any photos. We've erased his memory in my house. But it turns out, and it can be told now, that when I entered WWE, I'd been Cactus Jack for 11 years, and it was kind of a thing that worked everywhere I went.
Right.
Whether it was WCW, overseas, did quite a bit of work in Japan as Cactus Jack. And when I showed up in his office, had this mask, like an illustration for a mask. And I didn't know it until about 5 years later when it turned out that he wanted no part of me on his show. Like, he would say, like, I don't think I ever want to see that man on my show. And it wasn't until a lot of people came to bat for me. It was like, all right, but he looks seedy. Doesn't look like a star. And so the mask was like a deliberate attempt to hide my face.
So this is the guy that owns WWE. What's his name?
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon.
Mr. McMahon.
So he didn't like you, but he knew you were good for business because people kept going to him.
He grudgingly went,
so
okay,
begrudgingly,
all right.
I'll
let's
throw
see
a
what
mask
he has.
on
Yeah.
him and
then I
Andrew knows
started
nothing
having
about
matches
that.
with the Undertaker. This is '96 before the real famous match or infamous match we had in '98, and things started clicking, and they allowed me to kind of create the character as I went along, and it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to me because then I was able to become Cactus Jack and Dude Love, and I did them all during one Royal Rumble. It was cool.
Well, now Avalanche was telling me, our producer, he's a huge wrestling guy. He was telling me that you jumped off of something and you like bit your teeth like through your lip or something ridiculous like that?
That was that match, the Hell in a Cell. The Undertaker, he choke slammed me up on top of the cell. And it was kind of like an ad lib on the cell's part, the cage, because it gave way. And it happened. There was a chair up on top of that, on top of the cell, and just followed me down and hit me in the face. And not that my dental work was perfect before that, but all of a sudden, the camera comes to me when I finally, come around because it was my only time being knocked unconscious, legit, in all my years in wrestling, and my tooth was stuck in my nose.
What?
It was stuck in my nose. And then JR had this famous call where he's like, look at him, my goodness, he's smiling. And I wasn't smiling, but like when the cobwebs cleared, I realized I had this big wound underneath my lip. And I just thought to myself, and granted, this is as I'm like coming out of unconsciousness. I'm thinking, if I can just take my tongue, stick it through that gaping hole and wriggle it. That's going to make for some pretty captivating television.
Always thinking.
And you couldn't actually see the tongue, but so it looked like I was smiling. It's an iconic photo. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm looking at the
I can
photo
see
right
it.
now, and you can see the tooth in his nose.
Wow.
Oh,
That is
my.
amazing.
I love that you sustained just enough headwinds to decide that stand-up comedy was for you.
You know what's amazing is that, you tell these same stories that were so difficult, and they become amusing antidotes.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
it works out good. You find the joy in the pain. And I'm hoping, instead of filming, what is your name?
I'm Michelle.
Michelle, just
Yeah.
film Michelle's
No,
reactions.
no.
And she's like, what is this man doing in my presence?
Yeah, well, she
Why
didn't grow
is
up in
he
wrestling.
here?
Her mom used to wake her up, walk in her room, and say, "Jesus loves you, yes he does." That's how she would wake him. That's how her mom would wake her up in the
that's
morning.
a lie.
So being
but-
exposed to the wrestler Mick Foley, hardcore legend, of course, Mankind, Cactus Jack. He's going to be at the Funny Bone Comedy Club tonight. One show only, 7:30. Now, here's the deal. If you call up the Funny Bone and tell them you want the Andrew Z special, the first 10 callers are going to get a pair of tickets for free. Yeah, I know. Here's the number to call, 419-931-3474. Don't call us. Call 419-931-3474. Now, when you got out of wrestling...
I'm calling the number, by the way, so I can sell them.
Scalp your own show.
Hey, I got a pair of tickets. Now,
Brilliant.
are you married, single? What's your deal?
Well, I don't like to talk about being married.
Oh, what, because you're on the road? What?
No. I'm married. I was on Celebrity Wife Swap.
I saw that.
Man. Yeah,
that was like the best episode ever.
That was
Who
a
did you
good
celebrity
episode.
wife swap with?
I found out you're not supposed to know who you're doing it with.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I did because I honestly didn't know who the guy was. And when you say his name, especially to women, they're either like, who? Or they go, oh, my God. It was Antonio Sabato Jr.
Yeah.
I know the name, but
Oh, you're
yeah.
holding in that.
Oh, are you serious?
Who is that?
He's like the hot.
He's an actor.
He's the most handsome guy
Yeah.
who's ever walked the world.
Oh, gosh,
So I'm guessing his wife is super hot, and she gets
was.
you for a week.
Yeah.
Didn't she
was
like
really
cut your
excited
hair
about
too?
it.
He's
Well,
beautiful.
here's
One at a time. One at a time. Go ahead.
Here's
Go ahead.
some
Go ahead, Mick.
inside info. I know the deal. You know, I know that every story is essentially the same. It's one sloppy family and one neat family, and they try to find ways to work it out.
So you're the neat family.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify.
You would be incorrect, madam. Your assumption is not correct. And they play it up. You know, they had my kids wrestling for 10 minutes at the beginning of the show, and then they intersperse it to look like it's just mayhem. And,
Right.
we did have a puppy who was, not house trained, and he added to the atmosphere.
Right.
The poor lady legit had a list of 6 pages of things that she was supposed to do on a daily basis. She left them for my wife. And here's the freewheeling police. We fall asleep wherever we happen to be. We just kind of roll a little bit differently. But it was after the second day of filming, and I walked up to the producer. I was like, hey, you guys want me to do some type of makeover or something? And they said, you would do that? And I was like, look, I'm 46. Like, my hair doesn't really need to be down past my shoulders. And even I know you don't wear paisley with tie-dye. Like, I had specifically... I was going out of my way, to make the bedraggled look.
Right, right.
Yeah, I was really going out of my way. And
Good
so,
for you.
Well, thank you very much. So I sat there, and they actually they got new front teeth for me. And the show asked me, what do you think your wife's going to say? I said, well, my wife's going to say, that's nice. Now, take them out. Like,
Right.
He thinks I look better without them. And then the guy who did the dentist, they charged me. They charged me $300, and he donated it to RAIN, which is a group I work with, which is the country's largest anti-sexual assault organization. So,
Awesome.
so it all worked out. We got the teeth. My wife didn't like them. She likes me natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Grizzled lumberjack.
Grizzled
look.
lumberjack
Yes.
look is in, brother. Not to mention that my status in the bear community just skyrocketed.
Talking to Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Mankind, going to be the Funny Bone Comedy Club tonight. If you want to get tickets, 419-931-3474, 419-931-3474. Now, did you know, step into a Slim Jim guy? Did you know that?
Randy Savage?
Yeah.
and-
I didn't know him that well, but I definitely
What
knew
about
him.
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, Hulk was another guy I was usually crossing paths with, but I got to know him a little bit a year or so ago, and I got to know him well enough to realize that just because somebody is, larger than life doesn't mean like that. The scandals that they hurt any less. Like, he's still a real guy.
Yeah.
And so I feel good. I just recently appeared in a home video with him. a lot of attention.
He tapped you in. He tapped you in.
You know, the only thing I can say is that apparently it's flattering to him. You know, it's like I'm not so sure he didn't put it out. You know, I mean, he looks good in it. I know, but I do feel bad for the Hulkster. He's been through a lot, and he's a good guy. People forget that these things hurt. Like I read a bad tweet about myself. I'm like, why'd you have to go there? Like someone will say there was a movie. It was going to be a biopic, and it kind of stalled out. But somebody wrote like everyone said, "Hey, congratulations, great news!" And one guy goes, "Maybe it'll end in 2000 when you were still relevant." All right.
That hurts.
All right, who's got the children's book out now, pal? Me or you?
Yeah.
That's the thing that's interesting is that I think with Twitter and Facebook now, it's put normal people a lot closer to the celebrities they look up to. And then now I think you were, as a celeb, you were kind of isolated from that stuff years ago. It's like you only surrounded yourself with people that loved you. And now all of a sudden you're like, dude, why am I reading this stuff about my...
Why are you doing this to me?
I know, dude. Dude, I know exactly what you mean. Mick Foley is here. And by the way, he does have a children's book out. It's called Have a Nice Day. And he's got...
Have a Nice Day was the memoir.
The memoir. But you have a bunch of books out, actually.
The new one out is A Most Miserable Christmas. And it really is. If you guys are... If there are people out there who are wrestling fans who have kids, I'm not kidding. It is a really, really good book for kids. Even the pre-reader from DK Books, Discovery Knowledge, she was not a wrestling fan, and her take on it, her message to DK was, this is a book that parents are going to enjoy reading to their kids as much as kids
Really?
love it. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Now, did you have a ghostwriter, or did you write the whole damn thing yourself?
A ghostwriter for a children's book? How dare you?
First off, you've spent your life getting hit in the head with chairs. It's not that big of a stretch.
Hey, all right.
I guess you putting out a book is a little hard for me to understand.
I did the memoirs without a ghostwriter by hand.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I turned out 200,000 words in 50 days.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. And just finishing up a biography on General Petraeus.
What about this?
It's getting a lot more interesting these days, huh?
You talk about you writing a book, your own book, and you didn't really have a lot of experience, or you wrote your own memoir. But what about this girl? She gets the General Petraeus book, the most powerful man in the military of our time.
Yeah,
and she's never written a book. Oh, I wonder how she got that going.
Yeah.
I don't want to speculate at this time. If Al Qaeda knew they could infiltrate the highest branches of U.S. security by flirting, I'm like, come on, honestly, I've met General. I really have. I mean, I don't mean to be a name dropper, and I think Katie Couric, who interviewed me twice, would admit I'm not a name dropper. But I met General Petraeus and his wife, and I'm not named, but I was at the Pentagon. I'm not bragging about having lunch with injured service members, although I was there having lunch with injured service members. And he was there, and I had read an article about him before lots of people knew who he was. I'd read a really nice article about him in the Washington Post. I had a nice conversation with the general and his wife. This is like a human thing. You're away from home for a year. This beautiful woman is writing your biography. I don't know.
His wife looks like Susan Boyle. I mean,
there's something to be said for that.
You're like you got a 60-year-old grandma or this 40-year-old woman that's doing 6-minute miles and running. You're like,
look, they show the clip on Jon Stewart, and he was stumbling all over himself.
I know.
Yeah.
She's hot.
Yeah, she was. I feel really bad because I'm not going to go into this part when I do my stuff tonight, but I've dabbled in it. About the weakness in men's the weakness and even the part where when I go to the doctor and they come through like the guy says, well, we figured out what your the problem for your lack of energy and lethargy, and he starts writing out a prescription. I say, what's that? He's like, it's a prescription for testosterone. And I took the thing are you crazy? You're gonna give me this prescription? I'm almost out of the
Mr.
woods.
Testosterone.
No, not that I'm proud. I'm not making stupid mistakes anymore. Not even just. I don't feel like I need to.
You know what?
Pursue
I felt
something
smarter.
that is going to ruin my life. Here's a little something that's going to ruin your life. Now you have enough money to where it could actually hurt. Let me give you this. No.
Don't cheat. Good luck.
Yeah, but by the way, does your wife? I mean, you're on the road a lot. You're a famous guy, and does your wife ever worry that when you're on the road that you will stray?
No, because she knows I'm ashamed of the way my body looks, and that the only person who sees me naked is my blind Vietnamese massage therapist. And it took her 6 months. When I realized she was blind, I was hurting so bad from sciatic nerve pain. I was like, I will literally do anything to release this pain except allow a guy to touch me. So
Even though you spent your whole life with
having
oiled
men
up guys.
oiled up, yeah. It sounds so
irony.
seedy when you say it. Somehow you make it sound inappropriate. And I see this little Vietnamese lady. She's like, "Hello, Mickey." She's like 98 pounds, and as she's walking, I can see she's blind. And it still took 6 months, and you really need to have the underwear off. I had this intense discussion, an argument when I was in Austria, and the guy wanted me to take my underwear off. And this was a guy with some bad teeth. And this is a guy with bad teeth saying this guy from Austria had some bad teeth. And he's like, "Du musst deine Unterhosen, aufschalten. Ich möchte meine Unterhosen zu haben, bitte." Nein! You must, the Unterhosen is underwear. Ready to fight me because I wouldn't take my underwear off. And then finally,
he wanted you to fight you naked.
He wanted to massage me naked.
He
was willing to
Keep
fight
up
me
here.
over being massaged naked.
Oh.
And I got to tell you, like at that 6 month point where I just slipped off the underwear, it felt so liberating. Just to check and make sure she wasn't messing with me.
Yeah.
I walked up to her and I went,
You put your hand in front of her face.
"You can't see me." I did the John Cena thing. But yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why. If I felt better about my body, no question I'd be out there playing the field. Yeah. What are you doing tonight? Do you like fully clothed men?
Yeah, this is a little uncomfortable.
That's my wife, bro.
Ouch! Oh man.
He always likes to tell people. I always like to kind of be quiet and not tell people, but
Maybe I'll write a biography about you.
Whoa.
sounds good.
All right, Mick Foley is here. Mankind, Cactus Jack, wrestling legend. He's going to be at the Funny Bone Comedy Club. One show tonight only, 7:30. If you want to get tickets, here's the number to call. There might be a free pair, but if not, just get a pair. You're going to have a blast. Your man's going to have a blast. Dude, I love any guy that can just come in and tell great stories.
Oh,
You're
my
a
God.
great storyteller.
Fantastic.
419-931-3474 is the number to call for Funny Bone. 419-931-3474. So the interesting thing is you do wrestling for so long, and then you say you start writing books. Now you're doing stand-up comedy. Tomorrow you're going to Santa Claus school, you were saying?
Santa Claus.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I get Santa Claus school, and then
Where's that at?
It's a guy in Chicago. It was going to be done at there's a Santa's Village in
North Pole.
in Dundee, Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually this guy's been following me in my pursuit to be Santa. Other guys he's following for the documentary have been Santa Clauses, and apparently the guy that I am going to learn from believes he is Santa Claus. Like the documentary guy said, "Hey, can I speak to Santa?" And he was like, "Hold on, let me get him." And then he came back with just a slightly different voice. He's like,
The Wizard of Oz.
the same guy. So there's some unique characters, and I guess the part of the fun is here. I've been in front. I've wrestled in front of as many 64,000. I haven't done the WrestleManias in front of 80 like we have. Tickets are on sale, by the way. Ticketmaster.com for WrestleMania April 7th in New Jersey, so I can officially say this is WWE business as well.
Oh.
But I'll be as nervous to greet like the kids. At Santa's Village in the mountains of New Hampshire, as I will be to do a
Choke slam on a
match.
man.
Yeah.
So you're doing this on as a documentary.
Yeah.
But you say you've always wanted to be Santa?
Deep down, I think that's the case. There was a little kid, and he was a badly burned little boy. This is not going to be a joke, by the way, so don't hang on for a punchline.
Okay.
But I was at a department store in New England at a time when WWE was just, they were huge, and it was a free signing. And it's been proven that if you have a signing with me, or at least you did in 2000, and don't charge, it was going to draw considerably better than the signings that had a price tag involved. So there's like 1,500 people, and you got 2 hours to go through them all. It's not the place where you're going to make a lasting friendship. And I saw this little guy way off down the line. You can see that telltale look of somebody who's been burned very badly. And so I I talked to him, and his mom said that when he was really badly burned, he had to wear this mask for healing. He was 3 years old, and he didn't want any part of a mask until they told him that his favorite wrestler, Mankind.
Oh, wow.
You know, and he wore a mask, and so I had this beneficial effect on the kid. I gave him a little hug, and he was walking away, and I kind of felt like my conscience calling out to me, and I said, "Hey, come on back here." And I asked his mom, I said, "Can he sit on my lap, while I do the rest of the take care of the rest of the line?" And then when he got up, like an hour later, people they gave a standing ovation. Actually, they were already standing. It was an ovation.
Regular ovation.
And I was like, wow, I had this revelation. Like, I feel like Santa Claus, Yeah. So I'd always been a Christmas fanatic, but I think that was that point where you the idea of,
awesome.
Helping people, making them happy. There's a lot of suffering in the world, right? I don't mean to bring this show to a screeching halt.
No, it's a great retirement plan too. You work once a year, dye the beard,
unlimited cookies,
cookies, milk. Come on.
Here's the worrisome thing is though, because I had a buddy whose dad was in Vietnam. So he would have like flashbacks. So I'm always worried that you might have a wrestling flashback if a kid, because not all kids are nice when they come up to you. So what if a kid comes up to you, he's a little snot-nosed kid, and you just decide to pile drive him into the ground as Santa Claus? That could scar the whole everyone there.
I'm having custom-made urine-proof Santa pants.
Love it.
And I bet the documentary guy is hoping that I snap as Santa Claus.
Right.
That's enough!
Mommy, why
Go into 97 Mankind on him.
I
love it.
That's what I'm worried about.
Timmy wanted a figure
something,
4
you
leg
little
lock.
kid. I am not bringing presents for you on Christmas Eve.
Well, I gotta tell you, were an absolute blast, bro. Mick Foley, hardcore legend, Mankind, Cactus Jack, dude, a wrestling legend. He's gonna be tonight, Funny Bone, 7:30 is the showtime. You want to get tickets? Here's the number to call: 419-931-3474. Tell me what the Andrew Z special. 419-931-3474. Funny Bone, Levis Commons, Perrysburg. Come check them out. Dude, you were an absolute delight, man.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me
much
on.
for coming in.
Yep. Say hello to Mr. Noodles for me.
We'll do it. Mick Foley. Take a break. We'll come back.